Where do I begin? Where do I begin today? Do I begin with the fact that we're 0-4? Do I begin with the fact that the baseball playoffs and the Astros are eliminated? Do I begin with Lamar Odom? Or do I begin with Thursday Night Football? I know what I'm going to start with. Panic attack! Panic attack! Panic attack! Panic attack! Panic attack! Panic attack! Whoop, whoop, whoop! Panic attack! Whoop, whoop! Oh no! The Jackets are 0-4! Panic attack! Oh! 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 And we got blown out of the water with Ottawa. Oh! Oh! 5 consecutive goals. Up after 20. Down after 40. And being blown out after 60 minutes of play. That seat for Todd Richards is becoming a hotbed right now. It is hotter. It is hot. It is hotter than the French fries at Nationwide Arena. It is hotter than the surface of the sun after you lick it with your tongue. It is hot that an egg can be fried on it. Now, I'm not blaming Richards for this loss. The defense. Where the hell are you guys? Tootin looks horrible now. Johnson doesn't play. They're all going towards the net instead of defending the blue line. And then you blame it on Bob. Yes. My girlfriend, big Bobrovsky fan, loves Bob so much. I love you, babe. Loves Bob. She says, you can't blame Bob for all of this. You gotta blame the defense. I'm blaming Bob as well! Bob is not being Bob! Maybe Officer Bob needs to go onto the bench. Bring in Curtis. I have to say that now. Curtis came in Game 2 of the season against the Rangers and helped the team out. But yet again, Saad looked great. Don't get me wrong. Brandon Saad, the offense looks great. But turnovers and misplays and horrible goaltending and bad coaching decisions are causing the Jackets to go 0-4 to start the season. 0-4. This is the first time in franchise history that we started 0-4. Started. We are going back to 2011, 2012 when they finished up before they had their first win of the year, 0-7-1. I don't want to see that. I really don't want to see that. And now, hearing that Matt Calvert is injured with a lower body injury. Oh, no. Here we go. If you haven't hit the panic button, I'll hit it for you. Boom! Panic is happening at Nationwide. And I love you guys. And welcome to this Thursday edition of All Andy Alfred right here on your exclusive home. For me, a production of Clayfan 23. I am your host, Andy Alfred, welcoming you into the Man Cave Studios. Welcoming you into this edition of All Andy Alfred. You can follow me on Twitter. It is at All Andy Alfred. It's at All Andy Alfred. Where do I begin tonight with this with the Jackets from last night? Matter of 24 hours ago, we were watching this team and we were thinking that this team was going to get us a victory last night at 200 West Station Live Boulevard. We thought, including myself, I had a lot riding on that game because I said, if they go 0-4 to start the season off, it's not looking good. It is not looking good. And yet again, they proved it again. 0-4 to start the season. I have to say, the play from Saad was great. Taking my notes. Brandon Saad's play on the power play, beautiful goal setup, 1-0. Mark Mathot with the powerful shot to tie it up against Ottawa. Nothing that Bob can do on that one. I said, oh, that's a powerful shot. Mathot, great player with the Jackets back in the day. And then he has that powerful shot against Bob. And then it's like 1-1. And then Boone Jenner, his second of the year from Johansson and Prout, gives the Jackets a 2-1 lead. And I wrote in my notes saying 20 minutes, after 20 minutes, Jackets lead 2-1. Have to get another goal and hold the defense. That's what I said. But as soon as the second period started off, Ottawa goes on the power play and gets a goal and ties the game. And then the Jackets respond. Brandon Dubitsky steals the puck, puts it in the back of the net. Atkinson with the assist. Doobie's play was really, really great. And I said, I wrote in my notes, Jackets seem to get on a winning page whenever they have the lead. They cannot continue to fall apart like a Walmart lawn chair. And then I wrote, hopefully the floodgates don't start. And the floodgates opened. Turris, his fourth. Zibanejad, his first. 4-3 after 40. And I said, it can't get any worse. We could come back and tie this game. Perdue in the third. Hoffman, 6-3 Ottawa. I wrote on my notes, 0-4, are you freaking kidding me? And then the empty netter by Bobby Ryan. Finished it 7-3. The Ottawa Senators beat the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Jackets outshot the Ottawa Senators 41-27. Power play situation, the Jackets were 1 for 4, Ottawa 1 for 3. The Jackets out-hit the Senators 21-11. Face-offs, the Jackets won 40-30. Giveaways, the Jackets had 2 giveaways and 3 takeaways to Ottawa's no giveaways and 3 takeaways. Ottawa had 13 blocked shots on net. The Jackets had 8. Ottawa had 15 minutes in penalties. Columbus with 13. Craig Anderson stopping a total of 38 of 41 shots in the win. Bobrovsky stopping 20 of 26. Looking at it, time of the game last night was a total of 2 hours and 31 minutes. 13,803 went through the turnstiles at the Nationwide Arena last night. What are we going to do? What do we have to do? And now today we find out from Jarmo Kekalainen, the GM of our Columbus Blue Jackets. He announces today that Matt Calvert has a lower body injury. He's day-to-day. can't be just that. This team, I said this last night on Twitter to a good friend of mine, Shaggy Matt Culbreath, who works for 1370 WSPD, one of the best radio stations in Toledo, by the way. I told him last night that this team needs to go, they need to have a team meeting tomorrow, or today. They need to go in the locker room, make it a mandatory skate first. Make a team meeting, and have people call each other out in the locker room. You have to step up now. We have Toronto coming up this tomorrow night at Nationwide. I'm going to be there. If we lose tomorrow, we go into Chicago with an 0-5 record. Oh my God, I can't. Oh God, we 0-6 to start the season. I can't stand this. I can't say this. I really have to now. If Todd Richards wants to save his fucking job, and I'll swear right now, because we as Jacket fans, we are livid. You think the hot stove here in Columbus is bad, and Pittsburgh is 10 times worse, and all the other cities that have 0 teams are on the hot seat. The coaches are on the hot seat, especially because how great this team was built. This is one of the best teams that the Jackets have got, and yet Todd Richards is failing as a coach. He is failing as a coach. Well, let's go to the meeting tomorrow and look over the tape, and we'll look over everything and blah 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 blah. That's what Claude Julien would say. Richards needs to get this club back into the swing. Really, they do. And the fact that this club with Sod, everybody healthy. Now Calvert injured. Does that mean? I mean, you gotta put Cody Goldberg in now. You have to. You gotta call forward up now from Lake Erie because Calvert's injured. What else is there to say? Jackets are 0-3. No, excuse me, they're 0-4. Let's look at some other stuff from around the NHL. Philadelphia blanks the Chicago Blackhawks 3-0. And that was something else, too. That Hawk game last night, after the Jacket game ended, I turned it over to watch the Chicago-Philadelphia game. And I swear, the Philly fans are hateful to Patrick Kane. Every time he touched the puck, they would boo him, and then they would shout, "She said no," regarding the rape charges for Patrick Kane. I loved it. Investigation is ongoing, but his charges have been dropped. The investigation is still going. They'll find something on him. Boston getting their first win of the year. They beat the Colorado Avalanche 6-2, and the Arizona Coyotes defeating the Anaheim Ducks in Anaheim 4-0. This young kid from Arizona, forget his name off the top of my head. I'm pulling up his information. Anthony Ducharme, 3-goal game for him. He gets a hat trick. The Coyotes were outshot by the Ducks 37-29 in this game. And the Coyotes, unbelievably, are on a hot roll right now. They're on a hot streak right now. The Coyotes are on a winning streak. And the Jackets aren't. Unbelievable. Tonight on the docket, Nashville is in Brooklyn to take on the Islanders. That's a 7 o'clock drop. Ottawa is in Pittsburgh tonight. That's a 7 o'clock drop. The Penguins trying to get on the winning page as well, too. Chicago is in Washington tonight. The Rangers are in Montreal to take on the Canadiens. 7:30 drop in Tampa Bay between the Dallas Stars and the Tampa Bay Lightning. 7:30 will be Florida taking on Buffalo. See what the attendance is for that game tonight. St. Louis is taking on Edmonton. It's Connor McDavid's first game back with the Edmonton Oilers at home. It's a 9 o'clock drop in that one. At 10 o'clock, Arizona 3-0 taking on the Minnesota Wild, who are 2-0 with 4 points overall. Tomorrow on the docket in the NHL, besides the Blue Jackets playing the Maple Leafs, and by the way, make mention of this again, no All Andy Alfred tomorrow on this network because of the fact we will be on our way to Columbus to see the Blue Jackets take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. 7 o'clock drop for that one. Somebody's got to get a win in that game. San Jose will take on New Jersey. Carolina is in Detroit tomorrow night. 7:30 drop for that one. Calgary is in Winnipeg for that one. That's an 8 o'clock drop. At 10 o'clock, Vancouver taking on St. Louis. Colorado will be in Anaheim. And 10:30 will be the Kings hosting the Minnesota Wild. Saturday sees a full docket on the schedule in the NHL as well too. The Hockey Night in Canada games are as follows: Ottawa taking on Nashville, and Montreal hosting the Detroit Red Wings. Toronto will be in Pittsburgh for that game as well too. Buffalo is in Tampa. Dallas is in Florida. Carolina in Washington for that one. San Jose in Brooklyn to take on the Islanders. The Jackets will be playing the Chicago Blackhawks. The Hawks 2-2-0 with 4 points going into tonight's game against them. And the Edmonton Oilers will take on the Calgary Flames. Boston is in Arizona. So looking at the standings going into tonight's play in the NHL, this is what it looks like. Jackets are still in last place in the division, the Metropolitan Division, with a record of 0-4-0, 0 points. New Jersey 0-3-0 with 0 points. Pittsburgh 0-3-0 with no points. Carolina 0-3-0 with no points. Washington 1-1-1. 1-1-0 with 2 points. The Islanders are 1-1-1 with 3 points overall. Fix my camera here. The Flyers are 2-1-1 with 5 points overall, and the Rangers are 3-1-0 with 6 points. In the Atlantic Division, Montreal with 8 points overall at a perfect 4-0 mark. Detroit 3-0 with 6 points overall. Tampa Bay 3-1 with 6 points. Ottawa 3-1 with 6 points. Florida 2-1 with 4 points. The Buffalo Sabres 1-2 with 2 points. Boston 1-3 with 2 points. And Toronto with 1 point overall as they're 0-2-1. So in the Western Conference, Nashville is in first, Winnipeg in second, Minnesota third, St. Louis in fourth, Dallas fifth. The Blackhawks are in sixth place right now, sixth place overall, and the Colorado Avalanche are in seventh overall. Vancouver leading the Pacific with San Jose and Arizona catching with 6 points. So all gets back on the winning page tomorrow for the Blue Jackets. They have to get a win tomorrow night against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Game time 7 o'clock. Pre-game show at 6 on Fox Sports Ohio. As you're watching All Andy Alfred right here on your exclusive home for me, a production of Clay Fan 23. I'm your host, Andy Alfred. And today's show is brought to you in part by Dr. Zuhari and Fisher's office in Rossford, Ohio. And Dr. Z has been in the dental business for the longest period of time. Family-oriented dentistry, down-to-earth dentistry. He'll tell you what that needs fixing now and what is going to be happening down the road. Whether you need Invisalign, whether you need a root canal or a crown, whether you need cavities filled or teeth cleaning or teeth whitening, visit his office in Rossford, Ohio, and set up an appointment today by calling 419-666-3327 or visit Dr. Zuhari and Fisher's office.org. He has fixed my smile. He can fix yours in half the time. So last night in the Major League Baseball playoff system, Toronto! Joey Bats and the Toronto Blue Jays move on to the next round to take out the Texas Rangers 6-3. Batista, his second homer in the year, the game-winning home run. Encarnacion homered his first. Sanchez gets the win. He goes to 1-0 with a 0 ERA. Hamels the loss, 0-1 with a 2.7 ERA. Orsura, his first save of the playoffs as the Toronto Blue Jays eliminate the Texas Rangers. So now it meant to go into Kansas City playing Houston. And I had a lot of suspicion that Houston was going to perform pretty well. You know, they're the wild card team. They're a fast team. Johnny Cueto shut them down. Cueto gets the win. He goes to 1-0 with a 3.86 ERA as the Houston Astros are eliminated from the playoffs with a 7-2 loss to the Kansas City Royals. McHugh gets the loss. He goes to 1-1 with a 4.50 ERA. Valbuena homered his first, but Kendry Morales, his third homer of the year, put the game away for the Royals as the Royals move on to take on the Toronto Blue Jays starting on Friday night. Tonight on the docket in the major leagues, it will be the Game 5 in Chase Ravine in Los Angeles, California. 8 o'clock first pitch on TBS. Jason DeGrom for the Mets. He's 14-8 with a 2.54 ERA. He'll take on Zach Greinke, who is 19-3 with a 1.66 ERA. Game time 8 o'clock. That game you can watch on TBS. Friday we'll have Toronto in Kansas City. They have announced the starters for the game. It'll be Estrada for Toronto. He's 13-8 with a 3.13 ERA. Edison Volquez will start for Kansas City, who's 13-9 with a 3.55 ERA. Then on Saturday, it'll be game 2 of the series. It'll be Price versus Ventura in that game. That's a 3:30 start time. Game 1 of the NLCS. We'll have the Cubbies on the road versus the winner of tonight's game between the Dodgers and the Mets. And it'll be John Lester on the hill, 11-12 with a 3.34 ERA. And then Jake Arrieta will start in Game 2 on Sunday. He is 22-6 with a 1.77 ERA. Game times for that one, 7:30 Saturday and Sunday evening on the baseball planet. So it'll be interesting to see what happens between the Texas Rangers and the Toronto Blue Jays. The Kansas City Royals and the Toronto Blue Jays. Gotta give the edge to Toronto. I'll take Toronto in the series. I'll say it's 6. Whoever wins between the Dodgers and the Mets plays the Cubs. If it's the Mets that win, I'm saying the Cubbies. If it's the Dodgers, I'm going to say the Dodgers because that pitching is so good. And then if it's the Mets versus the Cubs, it's two power offenses going at each other. You're going to be seeing softball game numbers out there. Softball game numbers out there. So we'll see what happens tonight. 8 o'clock TBS. The Mets and the Dodgers at Chase Ravine in Los Angeles, California. Hey, tonight is Thursday night, so it's Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. The 6-0 Atlanta Falcons as we dive into the NFL. The NFL, Atlanta 5-0, going up against the 1-4 New Orleans Saints. 8:25 kickoff on CBS. Taking the Falcons that game. This weekend in the NFL, the Washington Football Club will take on the New York Jets. The Cardinals will take on the Steelers. The KC Chiefs will take on the Minnesota Vikings. The Bengals will take on the Bills. The Texans will take on the Jaguars. The Miami Dolphins taking on the Tennessee Titans at 1 o'clock. We'll get into the other 1 o'clock games here momentarily. The Panthers take on the Seahawks at 4:05. The Chargers are on the road to take on the Packers. 4:25 start time as the Ravens are in San Fran. And then you have the Sunday night game being the Indianapolis Colts hosting the New England Patriots. Deflategate game 2.0. And then the Monday night game being the New York Giants taking on the the Philadelphia Eagles. So, here are my predictions for this week. And if Danny Facer is watching this, these are my predictions. I'll take the Falcons tonight over the Saints. I'll take the Jets to beat the Redskins. My upset, I'll take the Steelers to beat Arizona. Minnesota to beat Kansas City. I'll take the Bengals to beat the Bills. The Texans to lose to the Jaguars. I'll say the Titans to win against the Dolphins. The Panthers to beat the Seahawks in the 12th man. The Packers to defeat the Chargers. The Ravens to defeat the 49ers. The Patriots to beat the Colts. And then the Giants to beat the Eagles. Now I got the two other games. Cleveland versus Denver. In my surprise, I'll take the Cleveland Browns over the Denver Broncos. And I'll take the Lions to beat the Bears for the Lions' first victory of the year. So let me repeat that again. Atlanta, New York, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Cincinnati, Detroit, Cleveland, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Carolina, Green Bay, Baltimore, New England, and the Giants. New York. So, Danny Facer, you're watching that. Those are my football picks for this week in the pro football ranks. College-wise, you'll see my predictions. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll see my college predictions on, but I'll give you a taste of it tonight on the docket. So, we'll see what happens. No DeAndre Levy for the Lions. He is out indefinitely with a hip injury. He had surgery on his hip the other day. I don't think it's going to play into factor as much, but it is a key loss for the Lions. But they're playing a Bears team that is still struggling. I'll take the Lions for their first victory of the year. So you're watching All Andy Alfred right here on your exclusive home for me. Production of Clayfan 2-3. I am your host, Andy Alfred. So let's get into, well, since we talked about football, let's talk about the college games. We have one game on the docket tonight as well, too, as UCLA Bruins taking on the Stanford Cardinals this evening. That game is 18 versus 15. I'm taking the Stanford Cardinals in that game at Stanford. Friday sees number 24 Tulane hosting number 24 ranked Houston. Take the Houston in that one. Boise State taking on Utah State, taking Boise State in that one. And then we get into Saturday's games, of course. Top 25 action, first and foremost. Noon kickoff between Northwestern and Iowa. I have the Hawkeyes of Iowa losing in that game. Baylor destroying West Virginia. And then we get to, I'm just giving you a taste of what my college football picks is. On this weekend on Saturday, you'll be able to see all my picks for this top 25, but I'm picking some of the key ones. Michigan State versus Michigan. Who am I picking for that one? Who am I picking for that one? Just one moment. Just one moment. Who am I picking for that game? Well, let's just say that Jim Harbaugh and his club is a very, 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 very good club. Very, very good club. And lo and behold, can this team be for real? Is this team for real? Well, my shirt says it best. My shirt says it best that I'll be wearing. There is no crying in football, except in Ann Arbor. I'm picking Michigan State, to upset Michigan at the Big House. This will be a statement game for Mark D'Antonio and his crew. If they can beat Michigan, then the only test in front of them will be Ohio State. And speaking of Ohio State, they're playing Penn State. Thick of the Buckeyes in that game. Black out the shoe. That one. Utah will probably beat Arizona State as well, too. And then we get to number 22 ranked, the University of Toledo. The Toledo Rockets take on the Eastern Michigan Eagles in a pivotal game that's at noon on Saturday afternoon at the Glass Bowl. Well, who am I picking in this game? Well, simple enough. It's just simple enough. Picking UT. I think Philip Eli and the crew, Kareem Hunt, are for real. I think the University of Toledo are a real for real team. But can they beat Eastern Michigan? Oh yeah. They'll destroy Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan 1-5, 0-2 in the MAC. I have a feeling that this game is going to be done by halftime, fans. So you can go back out to the parking lot and sit and wait for the Michigan State-Michigan game. I have the Eastern Michigan Eagles losing to the University of Toledo Rockets. I say at least by 3 touchdowns. It's going to be like Arkansas State. Now, the simple question is, after that, who do I feel like is going to be playing out for in the Mid-American Conference games? Well, I'll preview the Mid-American Conference games for you. Western Michigan is in Ohio. I have the Cougars, Bobcats of Ohio, winning that game out really easily. The Chippewas are taking on the Buffalo Bulls. And I have the Buffalo Bulls pulling off the upset in Chippewa land in Central Michigan. NIU taking on Miami of Ohio. NIU definitely in that game. Ball State taking on Georgia State at 3 o'clock. I have Ball State in that game. UMass hosting Kent State. I have the Golden Flashes in that game. Then we get to the game that is going to feature the Akron Zips, 3-3 overall, versus a team that will be hosting homecoming this weekend at the beautiful campus that is in Bowling Green, Ohio. Yes, the Bowling Green State University Falcons are in action this weekend as they are headed home for homecoming week as they take on the Akron Zips in front of them. A big test in front of them. A big, huge test in front of them this weekend. And who do I have in this game? Well, bleed brown and orange. You're gonna be eating these on Saturday. How cold it's gonna be. Forward Falcons, fight for victory. Hear it, let them hear it. Fight for old BG. BGSU! have the Falcons beating up on Akron, even though Akron's defense is a very good defense, one of the best in the conference. I have that feeling that Bowling Green and Matty Ice and Matt Johnson, as well as Roger Lewis and his crew, will be, with Dino Babers at the helm, will help this club get into a win column, getting their third win in MAC play, 5th win overall, 1 win away from bowl eligibility. So I have the Bowling Green Falcons to win on Saturday afternoon. So, if I'm a homer, I'm a homer. Pick Bowling Green. You're watching All Andy Alfred right here on your exclusive home for me, a production of ClayFan23. Let's talk a little bit about the NBA. Let's get into a serious note really quickly. This whole Lamar Odom situation. If you're unaware of this, Lamar Odom is in a coma right now. He is in a coma right now. He had some improvement today, but the first 48 hours are critical. His organs are trying to regenerate and everything like that, but it just doesn't look good. This is why you never mix cocaine, cognac, and fake Viagra together. And it's a sad case of what's happening. My thoughts and prayers are with his family in this whole situation. But yet, sometimes, if you're mixing with everything like that, is it really, I mean, it's just sad to see this. It just really is. Last night in the NBA, of course, the Raptors were losing to the Timberwolves 89-87. The Celtics were a 109-105 victory in Brooklyn. The Detroit Pistons a 114-91 victory over the Chicago Bulls. And the Atlanta Hawks were a winner 186 over the San Antonio Spurs. Tonight at the Cube, the Cavaliers will take on the Indiana Pacers. That's a 7 o'clock tip at the Cube. And at 10 o'clock on TNT, it will be a full disclosed game between the if I pull it up here, today is against the Golden State Warriors will take on the Houston Rockets in preseason play. So that game at 10 o'clock on TNT. Hey, we got some walleye news to pass along to you guys. The final rosters have been announced for the Toledo Walleye. They start their season tomorrow night against the Indianapolis Fuel in Indianapolis. And looking at their roster going forward into tomorrow's first game of the year. By the way, I'll make mention of this again. The Walleye do not start their home season until November 7th against the Adirondack Thunder. The schedule sees them playing Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Kalamazoo, Brampton twice, and a couple of other teams as well too. But the final rosters have been set for the Toledo Walleye. And looking at the rosters for the Walleye going into tonight, into their page, Michael Leone, Derek Donkin, Kyle Bushy, Rafael Fergberg, Shane Birchback, Stephen Vogler, Dominic Zabaro, Tyler Suka, Juan Schmiz, Jared Nightingale back with the Walleye again, Andrew Pacino again with the Walleye, Auden Hirschfield, Richard Niederball, Joshua Sella, AJ James, Kyle Bonus, Jeff Lurk, Jake Peterson, and Evan Rankin are all the starting lineup roster spots for the Toledo Walleye. On the reserve will be JP LaFonte, Austin Wittrick, who is injured, who's on the injured reserve for 21 days, and Joel Schwinnard, who is on defense. He is a scratch for them. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this upcoming year for the Walleye, coming off of a good season last year in the American Conference and in the Eastern Conference, of the ECHL, getting it to the final, Eastern Conference final before being eliminated by the South Carolina Stingrays. We'll see what happens. with the Walleye this season. You can get your tickets for the home opener are available actually right now by calling the Walleye box office at 419-725-WALL or ToledoWalleye.com or head down to the Huntington Center box office as well too. So now it's time for the Libby Factory Outlet, setting your table for tonight's sporting events. Of course, the Dodgers taking on the Mets on TBS is the big game tonight on TBS, and also Thursday Night Football between the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints in the Superdome this evening. So tomorrow we will not be on the air, of course. I hope you enjoy your weekend. If you follow me on Twitter at All Andy Alfred, we'll give you some pictures and some information. Looking forward to meeting Leo Welsh tomorrow night and maybe getting a couple sound bites from him for All Andy Alfred for the show as well too. So I can't wait to meet Leo. Can't wait to meet Jeff Todd and some of the crew for the Blue Jackets tomorrow night as well too. And I'm going to be running into a good friend of mine, Mr. Elijah Sparling. Will be at the game tomorrow night, and I can't wait to see him. It's been a long time since I've seen him. Catch up on good times. Long times for him as well too. That's going to wrap it up for All Andy Alfred today. And as always, most importantly, remember, go Jackets! Go Cavs! Go Walleye! Go Cubs! And go Jays! Go Falcons! Enjoy homecoming weekend. Go UT. And most importantly, I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together. The game of life. And to your team that you root for at home, and to the teams that are behind me, victory is sweetest when you have tasted defeat. Have a great evening, everybody. And a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday for another edition of All Andy Alfred right here on ClayFan23. Love you guys. Talk to you guys next week on another edition of All Andy Alfred.